So, in the earlier class, we discussed about nutrition, what types of nutrition. We also discussed about photosynthesis. Today, we will go ahead and study the other modes of nutrition in plants. So, there are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize food. How do they survive? And from where do they derive nutrition? Like humans and animals, such plants depend on the food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Remember? Okay. So, do you see this yellow wiry branch structure twining around the stems and branches of a tree? This is called cuscuta or amarbel. It does not have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. The plant on which it is climbing, this is called host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, cuscuta is called parasite. So here we learn what is a parasite, who depends on other plants and deprives the host of all the nutrients. Are we and other animals also kind of parasite? You should think about it. Have you seen or heard of plants which can eat animals? There are a few plants which can trap insects and digest them. Is it not amazing? Such plants may be green or of some other color. The pitcher-like or jug-like structure is modified part of a leaf. The apex of the leaf forms the lid. What is apex? The upper part. The apex of the leaf forms a lid which can open and close the mouth of pitcher. Inside the pitcher, there are hairy structures, which are directed downwards. When an insect lands on the pitcher, the lid closes and the trapped insect gets entangled into the hair. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in the pitcher, and its nutrients are absorbed. Such insect-eating plants are called insectivorous plants. So we saw what are parasites, and the other type of plants we have is insectivorous plant. Let me repeat, this is a very important part. How does insectivorous plants consume insects? So the pitcher-like or jug-like structure is modified part of a leaf. The apex of the leaf forms a lid which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. Inside the pitcher, there are hairs which are directed downwards. When an insect lands in the pitcher, the lid closes and the trapped insect gets entangled into the hair. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in the pitcher, and its nutrients are absorbed. Such insect-eating plants are called insectivorous plants. So the plants which is insect is called insectivorous plants. Is it possible that such plants do not get all nutrients from the soil in which they grow? Of course, do not, because they require nitrogen as one of the components. That is why they take up this nitrogen and the proteins by eating insects. Next are the saprotrophs. You might have seen packets of mushrooms sold in the vegetable market. You may also have seen fluffy umbrella-like patches growing in the moist soil or on rotting wood during the rainy season. Let us find out what type of nutrients they need to survive and from where do they get them. You can do an activity. You can take a piece of bread and moisten it with water. Just soak it in water, press it and keep it. Leave it in moist, warm place like a corner of the room or something like that for 2 to 3 days, or until the fluffy patches appear on them. You will see green fluffy patches being appearing. What is the color of these patches? Green in color? Observe the patches under microscope or magnifying glass and you can write down whatever you can see. But this part we will not be going ahead, but you can see the moles, the green patches that you can see on the bread. So these organisms are called as fungi. They have different mode of nutrition. They absorb the nutrients from the bread. This mode of nutrition, in which organisms take in nutrient from dead and decaying matter, is called as saprotrophic nutrition. So what is saprotrophic nutrition? It is the mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients from dead and decaying matter. Such organisms with saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called as saprotrophs. Fungi also grow on pickles, leathers, clothes and other articles that are left in hot and humid weather for a long time. During the rainy season, they spoil many things. The fungal spores that are generally present in air, when they land on wet and warm things, they germinate and grow. Now that is how fungus grows. Some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrients. Their relationship is called as symbiosis. For example, certain fungi live inside the roots of plants. The plants provide nutrients to the fungus, and in return, the fungus provides water and certain nutrients. In organisms like lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner, which is an algae and a fungus living together, you would have seen in ponds. There is an green or a brown patch. So there are lichens. So it is the presence of algae and fungus together. The fungus provides shelter and water and minerals to the algae, and in return, algae prepares and provides food to fungus. Okay. So next part and the last part of your chapter is how nutrients are replenished in the soil. So you have learned that plants absorb minerals and nutrients from the soil. So their amounts of soil keep on declining, reducing. Fertilizers and manures contain nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. These nutrients need to be added from time to time to enrich soil. We can grow plants and keep them healthy if we can fulfill the nutrient requirements of the plants. So the plants will require nutrients and you need to fulfill the requirement of the nutrients of the plants. Usually crop plants absorb a lot of nitrogen and the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. Now nitrogen is available plenty in air. Plants cannot use them as it is, right? So they have to convert this nitrogen into the soluble form. There is a bacterium called as rhizobium which can convert the atmospheric nitrogen into usable form. But rhizobium cannot make its own food. So what happens is they are going to live on the roots of gram, peas, moong, beans, these kind of plants. These kinds of plants is called as leguminous plants or legumes. They provide them with nitrogen. This particular rhizobium will provide the legumes with nitrogen. In return, plants will provide food and shelter to the bacteria. Thus, they are going to have a symbiotic relationship, a friendly relationship. This association is of great significance for farmers. They can reduce the use of nitrogenous fertilizers where leguminous plants are grown. Most of the pulses are obtained from leguminous plants. So herein you have studied, just to revise up what we have studied in this chapter, complete chapter, I would just state, first we studied what is nutrition. We defined nutrients. We also classified nutrition based on the source as autotrophic mode of nutrition and a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition is wherein the green plants, they make their own food. Okay, and heterotrophic nutrition where the organisms depends on other organisms for food. Then we studied about photosynthesis. How do green plants make the food? That is by photosynthesis, wherein it uses carbon dioxide and water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to make glucose and give out oxygen. That is photosynthesis. We also studied where the photosynthesis takes place. It takes place in stomata. Stomata has got guard cells which will allow the pores, the stomal pores, to open and close. Okay, when it is open, it will take in carbon dioxide and leave out oxygen. And when it is closed, there is no exchange of gases or very less exchange of gases. Also, we studied about the other modes of nutrition that a plant has, like parasitic mode of nutrition, wherein the organisms like Cuscuta grows on a host and deprives the host of the nutrients. That is parasitic mode of nutrition. We also found insectivorous plants, wherein the plants, it depends on insects to fulfill the requirement of its nutrition. They do photosynthesize. The insectivorous plants do photosynthesize, but also takes in insects. Then we also studied about saprophytic mode of nutrition, wherein the plants depends on dead and decaying matters for their nutrition. Okay, herein we also studied about symbiotic mode of relationship. Symbiotic relationship is wherein the two organisms, they have got a friendly relationship. They help each other in some or other form, like for food and shelter, for it to grow. For example, if you take pea plant and rhizobium, the pea plant provides food to rhizobium and rhizobium provides nitrogen to the pea plant. Okay, so with that we come to the end of the chapter, and I hope you all will continue writing the question answers that is given. Further on, you will get all the answers, right answers to all the questions given to you. Thank you.